the Carney group. Michelle, take it over. Come on in the middle so that.
Where's the best place to stand?
We have a copy of this presentation.
No, not yet. We send that tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah.
Let me remind you, documents that we're not voting on do not have to appear.
No, I just want to know if we have one,
Got it.
because I tried to review everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll be sending you all the materials, but just tonight we're gonna present. So hello, everybody. So we are so excited to present to you our housing development proposal. As you know, we have been in this process for over a year. We had our affordable housing development plan, which identified sites that the city owns that we could use for housing development, and identified what type of affordability we need, how many units, and all the types of things we want to see out of that development. And we said it last year that we weren't going to let that just sit on the shelf. And so we acted on it. We have been seeking developers. We had quite a long wish list of the things we want to see on these developments. Everything that's really thinking about both getting a mix of incomes from helping our lowest income levels get housing, but also our moderate income levels, because we know that's missing in the city, and thinking about how these units can be scattered at different sites so they blend in more with the existing character of the city, and that they help residents access different neighborhoods. So Carney and Hudson River Housing are the development team of the proposal we selected. We've called up other cities that they've worked, and they've come with really great recommendations. So we're really excited to have them here with us this evening. They're going to present a little bit about the proposal, and then I'll tell you a little bit about next steps, and we'll send all the materials over for you can look at tomorrow. So I'm going to invite Sean and Christian to come up and hand more over to them.
Right here would be perfect. So good evening, President Pedro, members of the council. My name is Sean Carney from Carney Realty Development Group, or Carney Group. Thanks for having us. Here with Christian Donahoe from Carney Group as well. So I want to just give you a little background on us, Carney Group and Hudson River Housing. Give you go over kind of the goals of the RFP that the city put out seeking an affordable housing development, and then our proposal, and then go into timeline and next steps. So Carney Group is a family-owned and operated business that has been in business for over 30 years. We're fully integrated, which means we perform real estate development, general contracting, and property management services. We manage, we developed over $450 million worth of development throughout New York State, and a vast majority of that has been affordable mixed income communities. And we currently manage over 1,600 affordable and mixed income apartments. Hudson River Housing, our partner, is a 501c3 nonprofit. In addition to been in business over 40 years, in addition to real estate development and property management, they provide a myriad of services to the communities in which they work. Resident services, home ownership training, community engagement, just to name a few. So I'm looking at the project goals of the RFP, which disappeared. All right, well, it might be missing. Christian, we're gonna have a chat after this. Oh, it might just be the PDF?
Correct.
Okay. So we'll pretend those circles aren't there. We've broken down the project goals of the RFP. Just very quickly, high level, the city was looking to create high quality affordable housing. Not just low income housing, but affordable housing at multiple income levels, serving households from 30% all the way above 110% or 100% of Columbia County's area median income. Was looking to do so in a sustainable way, utilizing green building techniques and reducing the reliance on automobiles. And lastly, was looking to find ways to provide economic benefits to low-income households and job creation. So we grouped those goals into 3 pots, so to speak, when formulating our response. The city was looking for affordability, design and sustainability, and economic opportunities. So our proposal started with Rossman Avenue, which is a small site, and we proposed 2 affordable homeownership units. But each of those homeownership units are affordable to households earning up to 80%. Each one has an affordable rental within that unit. So the first-time home buyer or low-income home buyer would then become a landlord to an affordable rental in a mother-daughter upstairs, downstairs. And that rental income helps to offset their mortgage payment. It's a model we're working on now in Westchester County as part of the Westchester County Housing Study. And the homeowners, the prospective homeowners would benefit from our partnership with Hudson for Housing. They have a homeownership training center where they work with first-time and low-income homeowners and home buyers. So the second site is Mill Street, which has some challenges with water courses and floodplains, but we're able to use this site to try to expand some of the outdoor amenities. So in addition to creating 60 mixed income apartments, we've incorporated a community garden, plenty of outdoor shaded space. We've extended the bike path to the Empire State Trail. We've included a bike repair station, rain gardens as part of stormwater management practice, indoor and outdoor bike storage. And this building will be completely electric, not relying on fossil fuel. It'll utilize geothermal heating as well as rooftop solar. And finally, on State Street, may have disappeared as well. There we go. Is a mixed use and mixed income building. So being so close to the commercial core of Hudson, we thought it was appropriate to incorporate any commercial uses that we envisioned into the site. So in addition to 21 mixed income units, residential units, we have 2 commercial spaces. One we propose to be the home of an affordable daycare, where the daycare would not only provide affordable rates to our low-income tenants, but the larger community. And they have a training program that trains new employees to be more than just daycare staff, but to be an educator. In addition, State Street would also utilize geothermal, rooftop solar, NYSERDA compliant, LEED certified, as well as Mill Street. It'll extend bike paths on and off site. They'll have indoor, outdoor bike storage as well.
So where on State is this?
At the corner of 4th and State.
4th, thank you.
Northeast corner.
Sorry?
The northeast
Thanks.
corner.
Just realized.
I'm sorry,
we
it's the
skipped over
northwest
all of our
corner.
sites.
Sorry.
Get back there.
Just looking for street.
Just so you know, we've done this before, we skipped these, so we'll go through them quickly. This is a development we've done in the city of Peekskill on Main Street, South Main. It's 75 mixed income units ranging from 50% AMI to 110% AMI, as well as 4 commercial storefronts on Main Street. And then the middle storefront is actually our lobby that we made look like a storefront and acts as a gallery for residents. Queen City Lofts is its sister project on Main Street in Poughkeepsie, 70 mixed income units from 50% to 100% AMI, as well as commercial. Queen City Lofts is a city-owned brownfield site. What I love about Queen City Lofts is it sparked over $2 million of private investment just from small businesses in our retail. We have a brewery, a gym, and a meadery. Makes honey wine, but they invested private funds over $2 million. And it may not seem like a lot, but this block of Poughkeepsie hasn't seen that kind of private investment well over a decade. And West End Lofts in the city of Beacon, right next to City Hall, is 95 units of mixed income, again, from 50% area median income, 60, 70%, up to 110%. No mixed use, solely residential. And finally, our most recent project in the city of Poughkeepsie, most recently completed project, Colonel Square, which is 75 units, mixed income again, from serving households earning 50% all the way up to 110%. So we're looking back at the project goals, the RFP goals, and how we shaped our response around that. So for the affordability, we're providing long-term affordability through a 50-year regulatory agreement. We're providing it through numerous income levels, starting at 30%, going up at 10% increments, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and 110%. So we're providing affordable housing for 9 different income brackets. And we're providing affordable home ownership options as well as affordable rental. When you look at design and sustainability, we're going to be LEED certified. We're compliant with NYSERDA new construction program. We're going to be utilizing renewables with geothermal and rooftop solar. We've kept our design consistent with the community character and the built environment. And we built local community spaces, whether gathering points, placement at State Street. We have the rooftop terrace and an outdoor pavilion. And on Mill Street, we built these outdoor green spaces. As far as economic opportunities, so not only will we have economic opportunities with the daycare to provide on-site training for their employees, but we are going to implement a workforce development plan, which is a component of our general contracting firm whenever we go to a community. So it has to do with marketing, on-site workshops and seminars, creating a referral list. Not only do we hire local, but then we create a referral list with any of our subcontractors. And it brings people on site from the local community to see what their abilities are, what our needs are, match them with our subs, match them with our needs. And it creates a very good, not only stream of communication, but an ongoing list and referral network. What I'm most excited about, proud of, I guess, is our internship program. So this is a program we've had for well over a decade. And whenever we go to a community, we look to take 1 or 2, in this case 2, individuals from the local community and give them a paid internship with our company. They're all 3 branches. And it's more than just a paycheck. We bring them down to our main office and we teach them the ins and outs of real estate development, from how to do funding sources, operating budget, development budget, looking at term sheets of a bank, figuring out architect site plans. Then we bring them on the GC side. We show them how to schedule, how to run a job, not just sweep a floor, but how to run a big job. And then the property management side. So it's very successful. I'm proud of it. We've committed to 2 interns as part of this development program. And then timeline and next steps.
Sorry, before you go to timeline, can you go back to that slide?
Sure.
The workforce development, can you talk a little bit more detail about the workforce development plan?
How about we let him do the presentation, then we take the questions from the end.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. So looking at the proposed timeline, if we were to have site control in fall of this year, we could be in the ground with construction in fall 23, with occupancy in the spring of 24. So we have about an 18-month construction period. Our project relies on funding from New York State, which is very competitive. At least the rental side, the home ownership is less competitive and can go on a quicker time frame. But the rental aspect is highly competitive funding that comes out. Right now, it's twice a year. So we'd be gearing up to apply in the spring.
This is all 3 properties.
It's for the longest lead items, which is mill and state. The home ownership could be quick.
But all 3 would execute.
Well, I thought we were going to have him finish his presentation.
Sorry.
Thank you for letting me take the
I
time
just
to
wanted
present this.
clarification on the question, so.
You
I'm
could have
happy
went
to
with
answer any questions.
Okay, it's,
done?
are you almost done?
I'm done.
Oh,
okay.
there we go. Margaret, you're first.
Okay, yes, so I'd like to hear a little bit more detail about the workforce development plan. I'm not quite sure I understood. Does this mean that you're bringing people in who would actually be working on the project, like in construction and that kind of thing? So you'd use local folks to work?
Yeah, so our workforce development plan is just on the construction side.
Right,
And it's spelled out in the RFP response a little bit, probably more eloquently than I can. But it has to do with advertising locally.
Okay.
Then we have workshops on site where anyone that's interested, we bring them in, we interview them, We pre-screen them, see what their capabilities are, if they're more office related, field related, and then we see what our needs are. We hire who we can, and any other eligible applicants, we then keep that log and refer them to our subs who work throughout the Hudson Valley. We work with them for over 10 years.
So it's an
just make-
opportunity for somebody who's trying to get into this kind of work, who maybe doesn't have previous experience, but
I think
could
it's a
learn
great
on the project. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, did you have a,
No, it's been clarified, and that's
I thought I had some comment.
the three varying projects, those all execute in parallel.
So Mill Street and State Street will be tied.
Right.
Approvals, local approvals, they could be on different timelines, but funding wise, they will be
Funding-wise.
tied. And then the affordable home ownership, the funding is much less competitive, so it has nothing to do with the rental.
Cool. Thank you.
Vicky, you have a question?
Yes, it seems to me a very interesting plan, and I think you analyzed all the sides, many sides of the issue. Keep in mind, it's a historic city, so it's have to be aesthetically pleasing. But I want to ask you, are you looking for pilots too?
Right, the same question.
We would be looking for a pilot, but before you throw me out, just, so our model for the rentals at least, for the Mill Street and State Street, our model, affordable rental, is governed under New York State Tax Code, section 581, which means if we build a $15 million project, but its rents are $300 a month, we can't be assessed at $15 million. Right, so it's a specific tax law that's made for these regulated rental housing projects, and it looks at your income as opposed to it bases your assessment based on your actual income, as opposed to normal assessment. So what we try to do is get as close as possible to that 581A payment and codify that in an agreement. It has a negative connotation when you say pilot, but we just look at finding what that dollar amount would be and then fixing it in an agreement, because then that makes our application much stronger to the state, makes our investors comfortable because they know the city of Hudson is not going to get an assessor next year that isn't familiar with 581A and wants 700,000 in taxes and our property's underwater. And we're in court. So it helps. It's very helpful in seeking funding, and then it's difficult to attract investors unless you have investors for the tax credits, which we get.
And I will add that we did include the assessor and the treasurer in this process as well.
Margaret, you have another question?
Yeah, is that methodology, it's not the same as a pilot, definitely. Is that methodology detailed out in your response to the RFP? The methodology
Probably not,
of
but
doing the assessment?
I'd be happy to send back up about 581.
Yeah, documents, but I would like to hear more, I'd like to know more about that, that's
Sure.
kind of an interesting
Yeah, so
approach.
we have that, we have the proposal.
Can you speak up a little?
Sure, so I can send that to you tomorrow, both the draft of the pilot, and then also, like the mayor said, we met with Cheryl, our assessor, and she thinks this is a smooth.
You met with whom?
Cheryl, our assessor, and she thinks it's a smooth way to move forward, and the treasurer, and they all think that this is both easy for us to implement, like the city already knows how to do this type of process, it's not any extra work, and it also financially is beneficial to us. So I'm happy to send all that on.
Yeah, I'd like a description of the
I'd like to-
methodology and the response to the RFP.
Amber,
So with Mill Street, as there's been things brought up over the years of soil contamination, was that something that was brought up through the planning
You just
process?
want to I'm sorry. One of the first things we'll do is survey and then a phase one. And the phase one will say we need to do a phase two, and then we do a phase two. The previous projects that I kind of moved through very quickly, I think there's 4 of them, 3 of those were brownfields. And we went through New York State DEC's brownfield cleanup program. We're under construction on, that was just Crane was the last one. So we're about to break ground on another brownfield right now going through that program. So we're very familiar with it. It doesn't necessarily scare us away. We're in an odd world where sometimes if there's contamination, it can actually help because we're fluent in that process. We know how to get a project property registered in the brownfield planning program, and I can bring in brownfield tax credits, which helps to kind of close our fund gap. It's not, we didn't anticipate it, but if it comes up.
We, that was Bob Perry too, and he thought all this makes sense, that going through that process would work with the soil, and also we discussed the, the Mill Street floods. And so that's something that they thought about very thoughtfully in the proposal about, raising the elevation to the 500-year floodplain level and looking at other types of innovative infrastructure on the site that can both help the site itself and then also help the surrounding houses with flooding.
And our Foster's was down there for years and when they kind of spot over for 30 years down there. So that's possible. So for contamination, and that's going down there in the dirt. So
That's not where Foster was.
Yeah, it's a different site.
Got the wrong side.
Just a reminder for folks on Zoom are having a hard time hearing, so do speak out and towards the owl. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. I just got two questions, Sean. So in terms of, you said something about automobile reduction, explain that one, and also with the homeowner proportion with the rental, thinking ahead in terms of parents and grandparents, is it going to be one level in thinking of seniors that might be, family members that be utilizing that rental unit in terms of stairs and things like that?
Area compliance on it.
So the home ownership unit is 2 levels because the site's on a pretty steep grade. So from Van Wyck, it's 2 stories, and from Rossman, it's 3 stories, almost like a reverse walkout basement. So from Rossman, if you walk in, that's the affordable rental. If you go Van Wyck, that would be the 2-story homeownership unit. It's like a walkout basement, except instead of a walkout basement, it's a finished apartment. If that makes sense. So there'd be stairs in the homeownership, no stairs in the rental.
Right, because it's beyond the basement level.
Lower level.
Lower level.
And first question, automobiles. So we include in all of our developments, indoor, outdoor bike storage. Here we've included bike repair stations. We try when we can to tie to bike networks, bike path networks. And I guess specifically here, we look to reduce parking as much as practically possible. The most recent project we did in Poughkeepsie was 75 units ground square, 75 units, 30 parking spaces. In the first, we lose a lot of potential tenants who, for 1 bedroom, want 2 cars, and that's okay. There's other options for them, but we attract a certain tenant that knows that they're moving to an area with limited parking. They're not going to have a reserved parking space, so they either move in with a car or 2 cars and slowly phase it out over time, or.
So you're going to provide a parking garage underneath?
No, there's no parking.
Okay.
They're saying it's hard to hear, so if it's okay with the council, can he approach a little closer?
Sure.
So I was saying we try to design with less parking. And I don't want to say forced because it's not forced, but we were very open in our marketing and lease up. So when people move here, they know that there's not designated parking assigned to them. And it either only attracts people who want to not rely on automobiles, or people would then adapt to use their own less. If that makes sense.
So the State Street building, would it have parking or not?
It would,
Okay.
but it wouldn't be like
1 at a time.
50 parking spaces. It might be a dozen to 20 parking spaces for 20 units. Plus, maybe we can reconfigure the street for someone else on the
Okay.
street.
Anyone else on the council?
Is currently the only access to that Mill Street location is the second street, right? Sure, the plan to keep it that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heather, you have a question? Heather, our city treasurer?
Hi, not a question. I just wanted to reiterate a couple of things that the housing director and the mayor said. When it comes to a pilot, I just want people to understand that this isn't necessarily a pilot for which they apply. This is something that's called private housing finance law. It's written into the state legislature, and the city had an opportunity to opt out of it back, I don't know when, maybe the 80s, well before any of our times. So I just want you guys to, number one, understand that that is how that works. And the second thing, to reiterate what the housing director said, is we do actually have currently a number of pilots under the same private housing finance law that have been in place for a number of years. And Michelle and I sat and we looked at the terms of the old ones versus the new ones. And I personally felt that they were in alignment. So I just wanted to share those two pieces of information.
Thank you, Heather. That's very helpful. Continue with the council questions. I see one member of the public. Please speak loudly if you can.
Yes, would this construction involve the demolition of any inhabited buildings?
All empty space.
All on empty space?
Empty lots.
Yes. And that's the first one. The second question is, how does the Mill Street proposal interact with proposals that have been made for Charles William Park?
So I can answer that, we've been in conversation with both, those plans are going through the mayor's office and also in conjunction with Maya and Spark of Hudson. And so we've been keeping them in the loop, and we think this is actually a really cool opportunity to they can, some of the flood mitigation components can really dovetail and strengthen the area. And we're really thinking about how the two can relate.
I see. Okay, so it's like they're together, then one will not encroach on the other. They will not.
They're being done under separate timelines, separate leadership, but we're all talking to each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the public? I don't see any online. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sure you want to wrap this section up.
Yes, so I will follow up by sending all of you the presentation, the RFP, the draft pilot and contract with the developer for you to look at, as well as kind of like a guiding document to help you through all of that. So you have some time to look through all of that, and feel free to reach out any questions for me or for the developers. And the goal will be to move forward on looking at voting on some of these projects in October, because if we're able to give that site control to the developer, they're able to apply for that spring financing, which helps us with the construction as we can just sooner.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so and this question is probably for you, Heather. As you're describing this methodology of doing assessment, tying it to how you are renting or how you're renting out, so that you're not getting assessed at market rate, where you could get $4,000 a month, instead you're renting something for $1,500, whatever, you're going to be assessed on the value that you're placing on the rent. That methodology to me does not sound at all like a pilot. It's a different methodology. That's why I want to see what that's about. And
Yes,
I
it's
can
very different from
understand
the IDA
what,
type of
I can
pilot.
understand, sorry.
It's very different from an
Yes,
IDA
it's a
type of
different-
pilot.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And I can understand what you're saying, Mr. Carney, about how to an investor, where you have insecurity about how the assessment will go on over time. So long as it is linking it to the actual revenue that you're getting from doing the rentals. There's a logic to that. So that's why I'm interested in seeing the actual methodology spelled out. And I can follow up with Heather, since she has researched some of the other pilots, so-called pilots under this law. But yeah, I just want to understand the methodology.
Yeah, happy to share that. And then You know, if you want me to connect them with the developer, we can have more conversations and have their.
I honestly can barely hear you, so don't worry about it, just send what you're sending and I'll read the
Sounds good.
materials.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Okay, before we start our resolutions, I have one quick announcement. Courtesy of Rob Perry. After 40 days, water is flowing over the spillway of the dam. The reservoir is at full capacity. So we go away. Our water supply. Okay. Let's start the resolution. Shaheen, please. First resolution. One we started with last week. Always controversial appointment of deeds.
Objection.
A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
Presley Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution is in support of the application to Round 6 of the Restore New York Communities Initiative for the Crescent Building Redevelopment Project.
I had a question about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was not able to come to the meeting
I'm
last
aware of
week
that,
and
yeah.
didn't have a radio. I know that this was presented to the historic preservation. There was a presentation, and I looked and I tried to find information about it. It looks really interesting to me, but is there some way that we can get the presentation that was done?
Sure.
So, you know, we can look at that, because I don't really have, and the other question I have is, this is to support their application with no commitment from us on the finances, right?
Just showing you support.
Right, okay, thank you.
The roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Michael, you voting? Somebody, what?
Sorry?
No, Michael, what?
So I wrote this resolution. There is, part of the resolution is to approve and set the date for a public hearing, which currently in the resolution conflicts with a planning board meeting that has been moved to the same date and time. So I would just ask if the council would consider rescheduling that public hearing for not the 29th,
Okay.
but potentially the 30th or
Okay.
whatever. you decide.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Back to voting.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
Presley Pietro.
Aye. And Margaret, the lead on the project, by the way, is Chris Perry, who's sitting right there. If you'd like to meet him at some time and discuss it. Okay?
Good luck, Chris.
Great project. And I'd say that even if you weren't my friend. The next resolution is accepting senior center donations. A roll call vote, please. You can leave that open.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
Presley Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution is approving a tourism and events committee grant to Hudson Halloween. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
Presley Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
Okay, our new resolutions. Which we seem to have 11. The first, courtesy, I believe, of the Mayor is a resolution designating the second Monday of October as Indigenous Peoples' Day. Can I have an introduction? Amber, Arthur, second. Discussion. Okay, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Star,
Aye.
Wallace,
Aye.
Presley Pietro,
Aye.
carried.
The next resolution authorizes the approval of our MOA, the Civil Service Employees Association. Can I have an introduction to Ryan? A second. Amber, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Deskalouti. Aye. Britt.
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Francie.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Star,
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
Presley Pietro,
Aye.
carried.
Let's see, the next resolution authorizes a loan from the general fund to the capital fund for sewer engineering planning project. Just a loan. Is that an introduction? A second, please. Arthur? Any questions before I go? Ryan?
Yeah, I don't really understand this. I mean, this, if somebody could just walk us through what this is.
Heather, you want to, I know it's not necessarily your. you
No, I'm
wanna-
fine.
Okay, thank you.
So New York awarded us a, I can't remember what all those letters are for, but it's, I think, something water, something revolving fund. Anyway, it is for planning future sewer building developments. It is actually a 100% reimbursable project, so there's actually no cost to the city for this one. Even more unusual for grants, not only do we not have to match it, they actually gave us $50,000 of it up front, which is one of the first times I've seen that happen. So the only thing right now is that we need to make sure we have enough cash appropriated legally in order to enter into a contract with the person, you know, the vendor that will do the study. So this basically says that we are going to loan, the general fund is going to loan $50,000 to the capital fund, which is where this project is going to live. And when we get the reimbursement of the second $50,000, that money will come into the city and it will be used to repay the loan back to general.
And yeah, that's what I thought it meant. I wanted to be sure because that's where it says that you will ensure that the general fund is paid back by the capital fund once the funding is received, right? But I got that right. Okay.
Yes,
very interesting.
At any given time, we often have a couple $1 million in interfund loans and we always keep track of them all. It's quite important, obviously.
Yeah,
Thank you, Heather.
thank you.
A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Deskalouti. Aye. Britt.
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Star,
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
Presley Pietro,
Aye.
carried.
The next resolution authorizes the mayor to execute a contract amendment for additional professional architectural and engineering services related to the city hall accessibility upgrades and a budget amendment to fund the updated cost. Now, the updated cost is the 7,000 plus, Heather?
Correct, 7758.
Any questions? Oh, an introduction, please. Arthur, second. Go on. Brian, any questions? Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Deskalouti.
Aye.
Britt.
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Star,
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
Presley Pietro,
Aye.
carried.
The next resolution authorizes a budget amendment to cover school taxes paid on property acquired through foreclosure. An introduction, please.
Just a quick question about it.
Well, let's get your
Okay.
introduction. Arthur, Ryan, question, yeah.
Yeah, what happens what happens, does the city then sell the property, at profit and then that goes to the general fund, where the profits go from that?
General fund. Must be designated for something else. I mean, there's, you have to put it in a non-binding capital fund, I mean, but generally we just put it in.
Okay.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Pascaluty.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Morris. Roney.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
Presley Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution authorize transfer of funds for the purchase of a replacement laptop for the treasurer's office. Ryan, second. Joanne was here first.
That's the only comment in the final.
Yeah, right.
You know how long it's been now.
Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Pascaluty.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Morris. Roney.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
Presley Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
Next resolution authorize the budget amendment to cover the fuel and light expenses for the fire department. Ryan, second. Arthur, any questions?
No, I guess, Heather, the only question I have is just given the expected increase in overall gas and electric costs for the winter. Do we have anything left over in the market funds that maybe will cover that temporarily, or is this gonna be something we should expect to?
We'll probably have to budget for this, because we've, this whole city light
Yeah,
contract has been a burden and a confusion and so, yeah.
okay. So
May I comment?
Go ahead, Heather, please.
Okay, so this is probably not going to be the first time you see one of these, and the handful of council people that were here a year ago will remember that we went through this last year. It's a little complicated to explain, and I'm happy to try and do it in more detail off the record, but this is less to do with the increase in fuel rates, although that is also a valid thing that should be looked at. This has everything to do with the fact that the city entered into an agreement with a solar company with the agreement, and it's basically one of those ones you see all over the place where it's like, you pay the bill, they earn credits, they apply the credits against your bill, they charge you for 90% of the credits they gave you, so theoretically you save 10%. You do. The issue is timing. The problem is that with the timing that they started applying credits to the various City of Hudson utility accounts, we ended up with significantly more credits than we could use up in any given, in a calendar window of time. So I will give you an example. Last year, we had to amend almost every utility budget because there was not enough money in the budget to cover the cost, because while we get the credit on the national grid bills for electricity, we still have to, whether or not those credits are used in full or not, we still have to pay this organization, which is called Common Energy, the 90% of the credits they provide. To give you perspective, right now, the DPW building accounts alone, which are most of them, but does not include youth, does not include fire, which is why you're seeing this one, does not include code enforcement at this point, although I think their utilities are covered under their rental agreement. We are literally sitting right now on $102,000 of utility credits in National Grid. When this happened last year, we were in about the same position, and it took us until basically April or May of the following year before we used all those credits up. So what's going to happen eventually, this is a 10-year agreement, and let's say in theory, we do not renew this agreement. The way we're actually going to recognize the savings is in the very last year, when we start the year, you know, the last year with roughly $100,000 in credits, but we're not going to have to pay the Common Energy bills anymore because we're no longer receiving credits from them. We will suddenly start having, we will have this huge amount of credit in National Grid that will go against our electrical bills across all of our buildings for probably 4 or 5 months. That is when we're going to actually see the savings. But in the interim, we're contemplating catch up because we have more credits in a fiscal year than we can use. So there's a very good chance you're going to see other resolutions before the end of the year to address that. We were not able to do that in the 2022 budget because this did not all come to light until basically December of 2021. And by then the 2022 budget had already been set. I fully expect that we will take this into consideration for the 2023 budget. But yeah, it's just their schedule of them providing credits and our ability to use them up works conceptually as long as you're not working in a fiscal year that differs from where their ebb and flow are in terms of their credits. So highly annoying, and I'm not sure it's worth the savings given how much time we've spent researching this over the past year and a half, but it is what it is.
Thank you, Heather. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution, excuse me, is a budget transfer and amendment to fund the CSEA contract agreement. Excuse me, can I have an introduction, please? And a second. Right. So, any questions?
So these increases are based upon the new
Correct,
contract.
correct.
Yeah, thank you.
The new
Some of
one,
it-
say it again.
They're based on the contract.
The new contract.
And some of it was planned for.
Excuse me?
Some of it was put in a contingency budget.
Right, yes.
Roll call vote, please. Heather.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution authorizes a transfer of funds within DPW, water, sewer, and cemetery. An introduction, please. Ryan. Amber, second. Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris. Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next excuse me, resolution authorizes a budget amendment to purchase of 5 iPad devices to be used by common council members. Introduction.
I'll introduce.
There you go. Arthur. Second, go on. Any questions?
How much gigabytes will be on the iPad?
What was that?
How many gigabytes are? gonna be?
64.
So $1,200, that's what?
That's for 5 iPads. Plus a little.
Sounds like a great deal.
Are they used?
No, they're, so through the gracious help of Tracy, we were able to reactivate our Apple government ID situation. So we get discounted pricing through Apple to fund government purchasing, or well, not to fund, but to purchase through the Apple government store.
Oh.
I was,
What? Is this the
five
first
for
one?
1,200 for 5 iPad, I was kind of,
Okay.
are you on 6 now?
So is this the first official act of the tech company?
This is the first official act of paperless Hudson.
Good job.
Good job. Okay, roll call vote.
Penny.
What?
We'll get a printout.
Penny,
Somebody say something?
Print out.
somebody Penny.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci.
Aye.
Frick.
Hi.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution is to adapt or adopt, I should say, our time and attendance policy and procedure. Which you all have seen.
I'll
Introduction.
introduce.
Introduction? Mark, second, or do one? Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Gasparuti.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
Our last resolution is a sidewalk easement for 508, 510 State Street. The owner of the building wants to expand his steps to better suit the building. And as there, we have no precedent, there's very little precedent for doing this. We came up with the, what we thought was a fair fee of $500. First of all, can I have an introduction? Arthur, second. One. And that's what this would allow him to build his steps, which have been approved by the Historic Preservation.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
So this is for the entrance of the 6 units and
Front of
the
the
house?
No, just for the front of the building, to give him a little bit of extra.
Okay.
steps.
But the actual building has 6 units and a house in the back,
Something like that, yeah.
3-bedroom house.
In Crystal's email earlier today,
Yes.
it was indicated that currently it's not in compliance with code. But
Yeah.
that this change in the steps would bring
Right.
it in compliance.
Right.
Wasn't it also like dangerous right now?
Probably.
There's
Yeah.
no steps right
Oh, so it's dangerous.
now. Well, it's being renovated.
It's not-
Only if you're wealthy. Art. Can I roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Gasparuti.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
Okay, moving on to the laws that we've passed in the past. We are now voting, and as you recall, always will have to have a public hearing. This doesn't end here. The first local law amends the city code charge to remove references to the city planning commission. Can I have a motion as an introduction? Ryan, a second? Arthur? The group of code, local law, a roll call vote.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Gasparuti.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Excuse me, aye. Next local law, which also came from the city attorney, amends the city charter to add certain officers to the list of public officers and for other purposes. May I have an introduction and second, please? Arthur, second. Amber. Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Gasparuti.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Once again, the next local law, which I believe always went through the legal committee too. Amends the city charter to expand residency requirements for legal advisor and to clarify the status of attorneys for not public officers. Can I have an introduction? Ryan, second. Arthur. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Gasparuti.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye. The next law amends the city charter set forth the duties of the city legal advisor and retaining counsel. Can I have an introduction? Arthur? Second. Juan, You got a head up? Yeah, sorry. A roll call vote. please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Deskaludi.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
President Pietro.
All right. And the last laws extends the lodging tax. An introduction. Ricky. Second. The line.
Rude.
Excuse me?
Rude.
No, he's first. I was looking in that direction anyway. The roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Deskaludi.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Wallace.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye. Okay, some new business. First of all, by the way, Ronnie, I'd like to see your doctor's,
No.
note.
Sure.
Okay. New business, council members, anything? Ryan,
So one thing, we had, Sun Common came down to do the formal evaluation on the Dock Street garage as well as the area behind the reservoir. And part of the challenge that Rob Dooley brought up, and I may want to work with Crystal on this, is looking at that Greenport solar agreement. There's language in there that actually may prevent us from doing any rooftop solar as a municipality because of what that blocked us out. So I got a copy of it from Rob.
I could have sworn at the time we actually said,
I know we think it made it through to the final. Rob was like, you gotta double check. So Crystal, I'll send you a copy and I'll get a call on that. We can go through it, but the viability came back excellent in terms of what it would be able to generate to really offset just the use of the water and sewer facilities.
oh, and that would replace the existing. How would that affect our,
It's because it's dealing with another solar entity. Which
I know, but does it replace the existing solar?
No. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
it's not, yeah.
So that's why I want
Yeah.
to look at Crystal. The
Got it.
second though that came up for it, and we can talk about it later, is structural integrity, the roof of that garage would need to be replaced before they can do it. So that's it.
So that would replace all of the energy for what though?
That would take water and
Water and
sewer
sewer.
completely offline and be completely self-sustaining based on.
For all of that front street area, or
For
the.
this, like for the for the pumps at the reservoir.
Right.
To the usage of the Dock Street facility, which is arguably the largest piece of city infrastructure building that we have.
Savings.
Yeah, it would realize almost 150,000 back into the general fund annually.
Did you have your hand up, Margaret?
Yes, yeah, just another new business item.
Sure.
So Crystal, this is really for you. I should have sent this to you. I've been very busy. I was just going through the code for, this relates to the 25 mile an hour limit that we are hopefully going to put in place citywide. I know that you and Dominic, I think, were working on new law for this. There's just one little section in the code that currently refers to the 30 mile an hour with exceptions for the streets where we put in the 25 mile an hour. So I can send that to you with, proposed edits, but I only found one section where we would need to update that.
Yes.
It's a very simple edit.
The thing is, Crystal will speak to this in a moment. She's discovered that there are some obstacles to doing it. You want to explain, Crystal?
Sure. So when the new law that was passed, they added a section to it for changing a requirement to it for changing the speed limits. And that requirement is that any changes have to be done within the engineering considerations and specifications that are in the manual for uniform traffic control signals. So essentially there's a federal manual that's put out, and then there's also a New York State supplement to it. And it does appear that we will need an engineering study to be able to support the reduction of the speed limit. And it's brand new. The language was not in the statute before they put this amendment in.
Crystal, that's painful.
I understand that. And because the statute is so new, there's no interpretations on it. There's no opinions on this. In reviewing the manuals and looking at the statute, I have to say that it would appear that an engineering study would have to be done.
I thought I had seen, I'll have to look it up, but I thought I had seen a municipality that had already acted on this and moved to 25 mile an hour.
They may well have, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there wasn't an engineering study that needed to be conducted, or that they were trying to do the same exact thing with the same parameters as Hudson. But Jeff, if you've seen it, Margaret, send it over to me and I'll take a look at it, and I'll try to get in touch with their city attorney too to discuss it.
Yeah, I came across it in the news maybe a month ago. I'll have to find it again, but, okay, so back to the drawing board. Then. Okay.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get it done. Anything else from the council?
Tom, I just got a quick question.
Yes,
Maybe, I don't know, Mike. So right now, just today, we had two housing proposals. Two housing proposals.
Yes.
And we also, there's one already in the works. Fighting over, are they fighting over the same money from the state? I mean, is someone gonna lose in terms of?
No, they won't be fighting at the same time.
Yeah.
Could you clarify that, because I think there is a point of confusion around the issue that Tom is raising.
Thank you.
Oh, come on.
Sure. Both of the funding, I know there's the funding for the depot district that they're gonna be applying this fall for that state funding. So we would be going into the next range, which would be the spring if everything goes well. So none of the projects will be competing as far as funding.
And I think, yeah, the HHA project.
Yeah, that's a total different funding source.
Yeah.
For the HHA project.
But have they done, like in the 3-year period, has the state ever fund 3 major projects?
They're not the same entity, so they're all not the same.
Oh, they're not,
Yeah.
AC, the waiver?
No, they're not the same.
Oh, okay, gotcha, okay. I thought they're, when they said state, they're going through, the housing.
Well, HCR will be a part of the project with Bliss Towers,
Right,
but that has nothing to do with the city's project. It's gonna be 2 different funding streams.
okay, great, thanks.
Any other council member questions? I see a question from the public. Ron Kotnicki, please.
Yes, hi, can you hear me? Can you hear me all right?
Loud and clear.
Okay, my question has to do with the presentation and the issue of items that need to be presented, agenda items that need to be presented at least 24 hours in advance. Did I understand you to say that if an item is not going to be voted on, it doesn't have to be put on the agenda?
That is correct.
Okay, well, I looked at the law, and the law refers
Official action, excuse me a second. If there's no official action being taken on a document, it does not have to be presented before a meeting.
Okay, I took a look at the law in question, and it refers to documents, resolutions, etc., that are to be discussed. It doesn't say anything about being voted on. So in my opinion, the presentation, since it certainly was discussed, should have been on the agenda.
Thank you for that opinion. Anyone else?
I just like to comment.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to comment.
Sure.
I think whatever the law is, and I'm not going to adjudicate on that. Personally, I would find it very helpful if it is possible to have presentations that are going to be made, put into the document folder, because I like to look at things that have.
But you saw the document already.
Sorry?
You saw the presentation.
I like to look at things before the presentation, in part because every presentation I make, I send it out to my clients ahead of time so that people can take notes on the presentation itself. They can prepare it, they can have their questions ready. And so personally, I would always prefer to receive something like that ahead of time so that I can take a look.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn. What's that? Motion to adjourn. I thought I heard that. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Oh, anyone object? Yeah. If we need to. After all.